Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel alleviates additional restrictions as part of extensive efforts by authorities to revive the country's economy. Israeli Defense Minister Naftali Bennett underlines that he does not expect another exponential surge of newly diagnosed coronavirus cases, but reveals that Jerusalem is preparing for the next winter for fear of yet another possible outbreak. Lebanon announces yet another extension of the nationwide lockdown, despite relatively low recorded figures pertaining to the corona contagion's carriers and mortality rates. The interim Israeli government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Beniamin Netanyahu, announced a series of newly adopted amendments to previously imposed emergency regulations with the goal of further alleviating restrictions which aim to prevent an uncontrollable spread of the corona contagion throughout the Jewish state. Among others, Israelis are now permitted to visit both public parks and gardens. Furthermore, individuals returning from abroad who can prove their ability to be fully and properly self-quarantined in their own homes shall be permitted to do so instead of spending the required 2-week period of isolation at state-designated hotels. In parallel, the Israeli government instructed the police to step up enforcement vis-à-vis individuals that are required to remain in self-quarantine after returning from abroad.
The Israeli National Police are continuing activities on the ground in order to make sure that the new laws and regulations about people coming back from overseas will be implemented. Coordination is being made by the different data systems at the border police control, police units on the ground, and activities will continue as long as necessary to keep Israel safe and prevent any spread of the coronavirus across the country.
Since TV7's last reported corona-related figures, which were published on Friday, May 8th, the Israeli Health Ministry confirmed yet another rise of 83 newly afflicted individuals, raising the total number of verified carriers of the contagion to 16,492, of whom 73 are in critical condition and 64 are in need of ventilator support. I'm also sad to report that another 9 diagnosed individuals succumbed to the disease, raising the total number of Israeli corona-related victims to 254. In contrast, I'm glad to report that Israeli health authorities corroborated another 541 individuals that were healed from the contagion, raising the total number of Israelis healed to 11,548. It is important to mention that while the published figures by the Israeli Health Ministry may seemingly indicate a significant decline in the upward trend of newly diagnosed coronavirus cases, it is necessary to highlight that these numbers are based on partial data. Health authorities confirmed to TV7 that in the past 3 days, there has been a sharp decline of corona-related tests being conducted in Israel, averaging a mere 2,843 in total, which is a significant drop of 165% compared to the same period of a week prior. Nevertheless, some Israeli leaders apparently believe that a second outbreak of the corona contagion would not occur before the winter. Speaking from the country's National Control Center at Tel HaShomer Hospital, from which Israel combats the corona contagion spread, Israeli Defense Minister Naftali Bennett underlined that he does not expect another exponential surge of newly diagnosed cases.
פתחנו את הכלכלה בצורה די משמעותית. אני צופה איזושהי עלייה, אבל לא זינוק. אני לא חושב שנראה זינוק ואובדן שליטה בנגיף, גם כי אנשים התנהגו ולמדו להתנהג טוב עם המסכות וכו', וגם האקלים עכשיו יותר חם. בסך הכל העסק נראה סביר.
The top Israeli defense official further stressed that extensive efforts are being made to prepare the Jewish state ahead of the next fall, before winter, so that the Israeli economy will avoid another shutdown.
ממה אנחנו חוששים? אנחנו חוששים מגל נוסף שעלול להגיע בחורף, או שזה יקרה או שזה לא יקרה. זה עלול להגיע בחורף עם מוטציה, זאת אומרת שינוי בנגיף, או עם חיבור עם השפעת, שגם זה דבר שאנחנו לא יודעים, ולכן מה שאנחנו עכשיו עושים ברמה ממשלתית זה מכינים את עצמנו לעוד 4, 5, 6 חודשים לקראת הסתיו בואכה חורף, כדי שהפעם נהיה ערוכים ולא נצטרך לסגור את כלכלת ישראל כדי לשמור על הבריאות. זאת אומרת, הזמן הזה אנחנו חייבים להשתמש בזמן כדי שאם תהיה התפרצות נוספת, נוכל לצמצם את הפגיעה בכלכלה ובפרנסה של אזרחי ישראל.
Meanwhile, in efforts to revive the economy, Israel partially reopened nurseries and kindergartens yesterday after almost 2 whole months, freeing up parents to go back to work.
Today, bringing the kids back to kindergarten is actually exciting. A different relief than I thought because we got used to each other and being together. So it's with happiness that we bring them back because they need to be in these frameworks and to see friends and to learn, and we have to get back to work.
It was very exciting to get back to Gan, to normal. Actually, it's not so normal, but it's the beginning of, we waited for it for a very long time, right? We had a great time at home, but he missed his friends and his teacher, and it's very, very exciting to get back.
While keeping with health regulations is obviously far more challenging for preschoolers than the older age school groups, kindergarten teachers are required to assure an enhanced hygienic environment.
אנחנו משתדלים, כל אחד יודע כאילו מתי צריך ללכת לשטוף ידיים. עשיתי איתם בתחילת היום, הסברנו להם איך שוטפים ידיים.
Turning now to Israel's northern neighbor Lebanon, where Beirut authorities announced yet another extension of its nationwide lockdown, despite relatively low recorded figures pertaining to the contagion's carriers and mortality rate, which stand at 845 diagnosed patients and separately 26 corona-related victims.
على صعيد مكافحة وباء كورونا، إعادة تمديد حالة التعبئة العامة التي أعلن تمديدها بالمرسوم رقم 6296 على 2020 اعتباراً من 11/5 لغاية 24/5/2020 ضمناً.
In light of growing frustration among the Lebanese public, which in parallel to the corona-related constraints faces a severe economic crisis, Minister Abdel Samad stressed the need for the country's security forces to assure the implementation of the government's decisions.
من أجل ذلك على الأجهزة الأمنية أن تتشدد مجدداً بتنفيذ القرارات والإجراءات، لأنه في حال حصول موجة ثانية من انتشار هذا الوباء فستكون موجة أعلى من الموجة الأولى.
It is important to mention that in parallel to the general lockdown, Beirut authorities are trying to gradually ease restrictions to curb risks of a second coronavirus outbreak. Nevertheless, the devastating economic implications of the corona crisis is seemingly increasing tensions in Israel's already unstable neighbor to the north.
هلا هو اجمالا العالم اكيد خايفانه، بس كمان العالم يعني لازم تظهر شوي، يعني بس بوعي، يعني مش انه هيك عشوائي. لازم العالم تظهر بوعي، لانه كمان ما فيك بقى هيدا الحصار كتير. العالم في عالم بدها تاكل، يعني مضطره تنزل تشتغل. وشغله تاني كمان لازم ناخذ احتياطاتنا. اللي ما عنده شغل مثلا بالشارع خليه بالبيت لشو بده ينزل، يعني بينزل واحد بيشتغل خلي عائلته قاعده.